As we've talked about many times here, you have to wait and see what Donald Trump actually does, because the man is full of shit. He is a pathological liar, and he cares more about appearances than actual substance. That's always been the case. So just because he says he's going to do something, or just because he said he did something, you can't believe that. You have to look at the facts, because so much of what Donald Trump says that he's going to do, he has no intention of actually doing. And the truth is, his cult doesn't care. And they'll never know any better. You know, all he has to say is that he did something, and that's good enough for them. They're not gonna know that what he's saying is a lie. Fox News is never gonna tell them. None of the Trump propaganda networks or podcasts or wherever they get their information, none of those places is ever gonna tell them the truth. So all Donald Trump has to do is say that he did something, and it's true for them. So he doesn't have to actually do anything if he doesn't want to still get full credit from his cult for having done it. And a perfect example of his promises not matching reality, in a very predictable way, mind you, is this whole issue of mass deportations. I told you that it was very unlikely that he was actually going to go through with mass deportations for one main reason, and that is Donald Trump was bought and paid for by the billionaire class. And the billionaire class, the oligarchs who bought Donald Trump and now run our government, are not going to allow their little orange sock puppet that they bought and paid for to round up and deport all their cheap immigrant labor. They're just not going to allow it. And for that reason, it was very unlikely that Trump would ever go through with these mass deportations. And up to now, he hasn't been. And remember, you know, before he took office, they said they were going to start rounding up and deporting millions on day one. Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, was on Fox News like every single day, talking about how they were going to round people up, and they were going to round up families if that's what it took. He didn't care. They were just going to round them all up and deport them all. Well, let me read you a little bit of an article here from Newsweek. The Department of Homeland Security said that in the first 2 weeks of President Donald Trump's second term, nearly 5,700 illegal immigrants had been deported. That doesn't sound like a whole lot, does it? Especially not considering the fact that they were promising millions starting on day one, that this was going to be the biggest deportation operation in American history. Let me continue. If the new administration continues at that clip, then it would be on track to deport half the number of migrants removed during former President Joe Biden's last full fiscal year in 2024. So Trump's massive roundup, the biggest in history, of illegal immigrants, deporting millions of them, not happening. The current pace is half of what it was in the last year of the Biden administration. And we were told by Donald Trump how the Biden administration wasn't doing anything to enforce our immigration laws. Yet Trump is deporting people at half the pace that Joe Biden was. This is all smoke and mirrors. This is all fan service. So when you see fan service for the cult. So when you see the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, dressing up in her little costume, getting her hair just right, draping it over her shoulders with her stupid cowboy hat on and her ice vest, pretending as if she's going on immigration raids, that she's actually, she's running down illegals and tackling them and throwing them in the back of a van, whisking them off to a detention center. When she goes on Fox News to portray that crap, This is all just part of the entertainment. This is all fan service. This is giving the Trump cult what they want. They don't actually care about results. And to the extent that they do, they'll never know. All it takes is for Kristi Noem to play dress up and go on Fox News and say that they're rounding up millions. That's good enough. They don't actually have to deport a single person. Just send Kristi Noem out there in her costume and tell the Fox News audience that they're rounding up and deporting millions. Or have Donald Trump call into Fox and Friends one morning and claim that he's deported 5 million already. And they will believe it. That's all it takes. Anyway, I mean, this could change. Maybe they do start ramping it up, but as of right now, it's a joke. And I don't think it's ever going to materialize because, again, the oligarchs are not going to let their little sock puppet deport their cheap immigrant labor.